the Fan3Cast, dishing out the hottest NASCAR news and views while celebrating the Three's historic comeback. Here are your hosts, Michael Metzger and Jason Schultz.
It was billed as one of the best racing weekends of the year. In reality, it came through as being a so-so Sprint Cup Series race, but the Indianapolis 500 was a fantastic finish and has a Sprint Cup Series connection in that Kurt Busch finished 6th in his very first IndyCar race. Jason, what did you take away from his performance, and could we look and see anyone else trying the double next year or years future?
I was definitely impressed by his run in the Indy 500. Finishing 6th is a huge feat for a NASCAR guy to jump in his first IndyCar race, the biggest Indy race of the year. So I'm so impressed by how he ran in Indy. When he came back to Charlotte, it may not have been the best run since his engine expired about, I think it was 906 miles of his attempt at competing 1100 throughout the day. So he was really close, but I bet him not being able to finish this year is going to drive him to maybe compete again next year. And I'm not sure if I could see any other driver doing it right now, but I would definitely say Kurt Busch is going to take another shot at it in the near future.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I don't think much has been made out of what Kurt Busch will do with this. I can't imagine that he'd do it once and just totally give up on it, especially shown the progress that he made throughout the month of May. I'd almost say you'd have to probably reach someone oddball. I think Tony Stewart's a little over the hill to be able to try to do this. I don't think Danica Patrick would put herself in position to run this. I'm almost leaning towards someone like a Parker Klickerman, who's kind of been flirting with Indy cars as of late, and he already has some experience in the Sprint Cup Series.
Yeah, I would definitely say if we had to pick one other driver to do it, he may be able to do that. I'm not sure if he can get the most competitive ride in the Sprint Cup Series unless he can find a deal in the next few years, but he would definitely probably have a better shot at winning the Indy race.
And then, as you noted with Kurt Busch, another engine failure for him. He is dangerously hovering around that 30th place marker in the point standings. I really believe that it's time for him to make a move. I can't imagine that they would be so bad that they would drop below 30th place in points, thus his win getting negated and him not being in the chase. But, man, they got to start showing something as of any time now, just to kind of get the ball rolling into the summertime and into that fall when you run into the chase.
The one-win deal is great, but then you just have to stay competitive for the rest of the regular season until you get to the chase. So I can't imagine that Kurt Busch is going to lack throughout the summer, but I bet if he doesn't start, I would say put more effort into it because, the last month he's been doing a lot of Indy. If he can refocus and put all his effort back into the stock car and his number 41 team, I think he'll be able to climb out of the hole he's dug himself ever since he really won his Martinsville race back in March.
Another aspect of the new points was not only the basically you win, you get in, but also the idea that you could maybe take a race off. And we almost saw that this weekend with Jeff Gordon having back problems on Saturday. Many thought that he might not even race in the Sunday's Coca-Cola 600, much less go the full distance. He raced and he went the full distance. His back has been improving during the week, but I don't know, this is kind of an interesting setback for Gordon, who almost retired. I forgot how close he was to hanging it up after the 2009 season because of his issues with his back. Hasn't been too much of a problem since then, but this is kind of a, scary setback, you could say, for the Sprint Cup Series points leader.
Yeah, it definitely is, and when I heard about his back problems, I was definitely a little nervous for him because, 600 miles definitely takes a toll on the driver's body. So it must have been tough if his back was really hurt. It must have been really tough to sit in throughout 600 miles, but he made it through, so likely didn't hurt him too much, and he's been, with his one win from Kansas, and he's been really consistent so far this season. Maybe with his back problems come up again in the next few weeks, he may be able to, I would say, maybe start a race and get it out, or not even compete, because I think he's in a position right now where he's pretty much solidly locked into the chase unless he just falls off the map for the next 2 months. So definitely definitely taking a week off could be an option if he doesn't want to risk having long-term back injury.
Yeah, I believe under the new rules, as long as he attempts to qualify for the race, he should be good. So, kind of like this weekend, if he runs the qualifying laps and then doesn't race, he should still be good. But, Jason, we had another driver punch his ticket into the chase this weekend, one that was a little surprising in the fact that it took this long for him to get his first victory, but I don't think anyone didn't see him qualifying for the chase this year, that being Jimmie Johnson.
Yes, a very, very good performance of him on Sunday. He always runs well. At this time of the season with Charlotte and Dover, they seem to be two of his better tracks, so he's really hitting a hot streak right now, and his performance Sunday definitely attested to that. And he will definitely not admit that he was a little nervous that he hasn't got his win and it was his fun through the season, but I think he definitely had at the back of his mind at one point that when am I going to get this one? When's it going to come? And for him to finally get out of the way, I think it's just going to open him up to have some more success and some more probably victories throughout the next few months. Because this is the time of the year where we'll really just see him take off usually and get his wins and get really set for the chase that's coming up in about 13 races.
Yeah, he was talking a good game with the media members each week, saying that he wasn't worried about the win, but Chad Knaus was definitely worried about the win, and not only to get a win, but pretty dominant fashion out there, leading 164 of the 400 laps on his way to the victory.
Yeah, definitely no upset really went for him. He definitely started from the front, did really well, and then he just continued his strong run throughout the day, and it's interesting to see if he can keep it up.
This upcoming Sunday marks the final race for Fox this season. Jason, we've been pretty hard on them every single week trying to break down their coverage. What kind of positives can you draw from what we've seen so far this season that can maybe go into next year when they actually get to go even further into the season with the new television deal going into effect?
I really do enjoy having Darrell Waltrip, Mick Troy, and Larry McReynolds in the booth. I think they're three of the best broadcasters in NASCAR right now, and I think it just creates, when they're all talking and giving their opinions and feedback and explanations of everything that's happening on the track, I think it just adds something to the race watching experience, and it's fun to learn from what they have to say and hear their story. So I'm really going to miss that, and I think that's one of their key points of how they can just be seem so relaxed, so real in the booth, and that's the one thing I think I miss after they leave every season. But next year, I think getting to have them talk for a little bit longer in the season can be a big positive.
I like the idea that they tried some new things. While they failed miserably with the leaderboard, they at least were trying to be innovative. And not only that, but then on the flip side of that, they listened to the fans and they were able to make changes and corrections as they went. Is it perfect? No, but at least they didn't stick it out there and just think they're going to watch whatever we put out here regardless of quality of it. So I kind of liked how they listened to the feedback, they made changes. Do they have to make more changes? Absolutely, but it's at least taking that step.
And following this weekend, our power rankings definitely took a little shake-up because Jimmie Johnson, his dominating performance, definitely allowed him to make his way into our top three. And I'm going with Kevin Harvick, Jimmie Johnson, and Joey Logano this week. Harvick was very consistent. He ran really well all night. If it wasn't Johnson up front, it would have been Harvick. And he's just been so good and so dominant still throughout the last few weeks that he definitely earned a spot on top. And Johnson, we've already talked about how great he was, and that's probably why he's in both of our rankings this week. And Joey Logano just continues to be consistent. He's got 2 wins. He's always showing his nose up front. So he's definitely really strong at this point, and he'll definitely be a threat throughout the next few months. And coming up to Michigan too, he's going to be really strong there as he won last August.
I have Jeff Gordon leading the way once again. I kind of like what you're talking about with Joey Logano. He was up there. He's being consistent. He wasn't a flashy performance out of Gordon, but it was another solid finish for him. Harvick, I have listed second. He had 100 laps led, finished second to Jimmie Johnson, who is my third. As we've gone over, had an absolutely dominating performance at Charlotte. My top three did not change at all, and actually my top 10 that you'll see on startandparkblog.com did not change at all. So we're hoping that Dover presents an opportunity for maybe the standings or the rankings to get shaken up a little bit, because we don't like talking about the same people every week, although they may deserve it. Talking about Dover, that's going to be a very special race weekend for Jason, as he will be at the track the entire weekend and doing some cool things around the race. So Jason, I'm going to let you tell us about what you got planned down there and what kind of different activities are you going to be a part of, and possibly which drivers might you be able to get to talk to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fantastic weekend. I'm really looking forward to it, getting to leave in, I'd say, about 20 hours now, so definitely a countdown's on. And all weekend, 4 days of races, I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things. And on Thursday's a big day for me. The Drive for Autism Celebrity Golf Tournament, that's going to involve a lot of different drivers, broadcasters, and sports stars from around the Philadelphia area. They'll all come out to support a really great cause and autism awareness, and a lot of money's going to be raised. I'd say a lot of donations and auctions and all kinds of stuff. So it's really fun, and Fox is one of their producers with that whole sports thing. Artie Temper, he runs the tournament, and he definitely puts on a really fun day, and we've seen it before. If you watch the Dover pre-race, there's always a segment about it in the pre-race before the Spring Cup race, so it's fun. I've always enjoyed watching that, so it'll be fun to actually get there. And I'll be busy that day. I'll be doing some social media work for them and tweeting and taking pictures, taking videos, talking with different drivers there. So that's going to be a really fun time. And some of the drivers you can definitely look forward to. Some pictures of our Danica Patrick, Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, among a lot more. So it's going to be fun to get to talk to them and meet most of them. So you'll want to follow the Twitter account where I'll be doing most of my work, which is Drive for Autism. That's number 4. And you can see all the pictures and videos and everything with a link to that account. So that you'll definitely want to keep your eyes on that account throughout the day. And you can follow them on Instagram too. It's at Drive for Autism. You can start that over. You can also follow them on Instagram at Drive for Autism, and that's FOR4. And I'm really excited to get the opportunity to get down to Dover. It was where I actually attended my first ever race in 2005, so it's going to be fun to get back there. And I'm going to say hi to Miles the Monster, and Thursday's going to be fun to get to do all this social media and golf work. And I'll definitely have some stories to tell on next week's show.
And Jason, during the weekend, where will you be sitting to watch the races?
I'm actually going to be in a variety of locations. On Friday, I should be on the front stretch for the truck race. Saturday, I'll be hopefully in turn 1 for the nationwide race. And Sunday's really a mystery right now, but I haven't got my tickets yet. So definitely check my Twitter feed to see which area of the track I will be viewing the race from.
Living dangerously by getting the tickets to that weekend, are you?
Yeah, and actually, someone already got it for me, so I'll just be picking it up already, but I'm just not sure where.
Gotcha.
It's a big mystery. Yeah.
So coming to Dover, last year we had Juan Montoya dicing it out for the win with Tony Stewart. Are we going to see that kind of wild cards coming up near the top, going for a win? I know Martin Truex has been strong there in the past. Or will we see kind of the same old with Jimmie Johnson or the Casey Canes or the Matt Kenseths kind of putting their mark on the chase?
As much as I really want to see maybe a wild card type of guy up there running up front and going after the win, I think you're just going to see the Jimmie Johnson, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski. I think of that. Those few drivers are definitely going to be competitive. They're not always the best at Dover, but I think besides Johnson, he's always good. But I think they'll just have a pretty decent weekend, and it'll probably be a front runner party on Sunday, because I know those guys are can always get their cars tuned in when they have to, and they haven't all been, talking about Logano and Keselowski, they haven't been on it for the last 2 weeks, so I think it's time's coming when they're just going to have a really great race, and Dover definitely provides opportunity for them to probably shine throughout the 400 miles.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be another Jimmie Johnson weekend, and that's what brings us to our picks to win. I have Jimmie Johnson, 24 starts at the track. He has 8 wins, 8.667 average finish. That is by far the best. No one else is in single digits in the Sprint Cup Series. 12 top 5s, 17 top 10s. He won last week, and I'm going to go with the big word is momentum for Jimmie Johnson. I think winning at Charlotte is going to take some pressure off of him and Chad Knaus. They're going to be able to come to Dover a little bit more relaxed, but still getting up on the wheel, and it's going to be another 48 in victory.
I'm going to pick Matt Kenseth this weekend. He's won twice at Dover before, and he'll definitely be a threat on Sunday, and he has been running really consistently this season. Last week in a really strong performance, came home third, I believe. So he's going to be strong, and he's got the momentum rolling, like I said. So he's going to, I think, going to be one of the front runners throughout the day, and he knows how to get it done at Dover, so I think it's going to be probably coming down between him and Johnson for the victory.
It's definitely going to be an exciting weekend. All 3 series, like you had said, are in action Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be motorsports overload for most people. You're going to be there enjoying the sights and sounds. But before you go, I forgot about bringing this up earlier. I wanted your 2 cents on this. Trevor Bayne was announced last week that he will be moving up to the Sprint Cup Series full-time in the number 6 Advocare Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. Good move, bad move?
I really like Bayne. He's a really nice guy, and it's fun to watch him succeed because he definitely gets really excited about that. That's why I like him. But his performance on the track, it hasn't been the greatest as of late. I thought this might be his breakout Nationwide Series year, like Rick Stenhouse had in his second year in the Nationwide Series. So I've been expecting him to do a little bit better in the Nationwide Series, but we still have a bunch of seasons to go. So I think if he can pick it up the pace, it'll make it seem like a better move. But if he depends on, like, when he starts next year, how well he can do. If he's able to run consistently up front or stay top 20, I think it's going to really come down to whether he's going to be able to keep up, I think, throughout the season. And right now, I say good move, but I think only time will tell next season when we find out whether or not it was the best move for the team.
I agree. I think he's got a lot of raw potential, but needs more time and needs to show a little more in the Nationwide Series. And before you go, one last question, because I'm putting the screws to you right now. Greg Biffle, will he be with Roush Racing next year, or will he be elsewhere?
I think it's really hard to say he'll be elsewhere, because I don't really know where he would go. He's on the older side, so I don't think his options are going to be that wide, but I've seen reports that saying he's definitely not going to be back at Roush, and he has plenty of other options. But I think it'll come down to him choosing probably between 2 teams, and I'm just going to say no Roush Fenway for Biffle next season.
I'm going to lean towards kind of a wild card of maybe like Michael Waltrip Racing. The rumor has it that Biffle has sponsorship from 3M with him, so he can pretty much go anywhere that has an extra opening, such as Joe Gibbs, less likely, probably go to Carl Edwards, or a Michael Waltrip Racing organization. So I almost say that he ends up with that type of a team as opposed to coming back to Roush, because it ain't looking that well in the press.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how Philly season develops, because once we hit the summer months, it definitely comes on really heavily. So that'll be one big topic we'll be watching over the next few months.
A lot of racing action this weekend. Jason, plug again. Where can people follow you, follow the action this weekend at Dover?
For Thursday, you want to follow at Drive4 Autism for all the golf updates and plenty of pictures, and I'll have a bunch of pictures from my personal account at NASCAR Station all weekend. And you can always check Start and Park blog for the greatest content throughout the race weekend.
You are too kind, Jason, so I hope you have a fun trip, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Fan3Cast. For more NASCAR coverage, check out StartingParkBlog.com and Turn4RacingNews.com. Follow along on Twitter at Fan3Cast, at StartingParkBlog, and at NASCARJason.